Good day, folks. Welcome back to my neck of the woods. My name's Dika, where I share my experience and my knowledge, hoping to lessen your learning curve. So today I have a product review on a surf casting rod that I've used all season. I'm packing it up. I just took the reel off of it, and I'm going to get it all cleaned up and put it away for storage until next season. But I thought I'd do a review on it. I've used it all year. I came off, the one I had before this was the Penn Battalion. There's a review on that on the channel also. And I want to tell you about this one. This is a very special rod, by the way. It's made by a company called the Temple Fork Outfitters. And I had never heard of the company before, and I actually saw someone on the beach and it was a blue color and I thought it was cool. So I asked them what it was, and I got to talking with them, and then I did some reviews on it and a little research, and ended up buying one myself. So this, I'm gonna give you a little specs on it, and then I'm gonna tell you a little bit about my experience with this fishing rod. So there's a bunch of different models. So they carry freshwater, saltwater, and this is from the Tactical Surf series. See that in there, the TFO Tactical Surf series. It's for surf casting. This one is 10'6". It's a medium power. It's a 70-30 rod. That means graphite versus carbon, and graphite versus fiberglass, excuse me. The range for the weight of the lure or bait you can throw on this is 3/4 to 4 ounces, which is perfect for my purposes. I mostly do bait, and it is a medium fast as far as the tip. So it comes in 2 pieces here. 2 pieces. They're not of equal lengths. One is significant. The top piece is significantly longer than the other piece, and there's I'm not an expert in rods by any means, but all of the guides, all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, all 9 of the guides are on that top piece. I really didn't think that makes a difference, but it does a little bit. It makes a little bit of difference when you're fighting a fish to have that portion of the rod all on the guides. It makes a difference. The handle here, it's like a rubber, it's almost tacky. You can see this is what it looked like when I began, and this is from using it. It wears in very quickly, and it's like a shrink wrap feeling. Like I said, I came off the Penn Battalion, and I really like that handle. This handle is not as good, but it certainly serves its purpose. I think the benefits of the rod are far surpass how good the handle is. And when you buy the rod, when you go on the website, and the MSRP of this is, I think it's like $299. It's right around $300, $289 I believe. And depending on what strength you buy, they're gonna offer a different handle. Like this might be shorter, or the reel seat here might be a little bit longer, but they're all relatively the same. And it's a good handle, don't get me wrong, but I like the Penn Battalion a little bit better. The Penn Battalion was just a little more grippy, and it wasn't as thin. So the rod here. So I told you the specs, and I told you how much it costs. I would highly recommend getting this rod. I would. Like I said, I'm not an expert, but I caught two stripers off the beach that were 50 inches plus, and a good more than a dozen 40 inches, and the rod did all the work. Now, granted, I've got a pretty good reel. I got the Tsunami Salt X 6000, and I think if you're going to pair it with anything, pair it with this, because it's just a perfect setup, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion. These are my reviews, right? So there are things about this rod that I've never experienced with any fishing rod. And maybe it's because I had braid on it, and braid is very sensitive. But there were things, as I was using bait, right? And I was bouncing it across the bottom. I could feel like the grain of the sand through the rod. At first, I didn't know what I was feeling. I'm like, what am I feeling? How sensitive is this? And I could feel like if I was coming over a rock, or if I was coming over some debris in the water, or if it was just a sandy bottom, I could feel it. Somehow the line transferred it to the rod. And there were things that I felt with the rod Now I wasn't like holding it and like holding the line too. The sound, the feeling, the vibration was transferred into the rod. I know it may sound silly. I'm sure other fishermen have experienced the same thing, because I've experienced. When I was fishing with this, there were things that I felt through the rod that I had never felt before. And turns out, I think some of it was maybe a fish coming by and whacking at the bait, or maybe a piece of seaweed coming by, or it was just, I couldn't decipher exactly what all these feelings were. I will in time, but as of right now, I wasn't able to decipher it. So I caught multiple 50+ inch fish off the beach, and the rod did all the work. I've had reels before where the reel does all the work and everything like that, but I was really able to hold the fish nicely without feeling like the rod was going to break. And like with my Penn Battalion that I had before, I know I compare it to this, but that's really what I had before. And I caught a fish that was 39 inches last year, and I felt like the Penn Battalion was going to break. It didn't, but I mean, the amount of bend I felt and the amount of force and tension that I had on that fish, it was just, I know now that I didn't have a good enough rod to handle the fish that I was fishing. That's the only explanation for it. And this rod is short of amazing. I can't, this actually might be my forever rod. There was some other people out there that recommended like the Lamaglass ones. I'm not sure I'm going to change. There's no reason for me to change unless I, but if I buy another rod, I might buy another one of these. I wanted to do some shark fishing off the shore. I'm sure that this may or may not be able to handle it. I'll do my research and try to figure it out from there. But I think this is my company. I think Temple Fork Outfitters is my company when it comes to fishing rods. I'm actually going to explore their freshwater setups and look at those, because I'm so enthused with this. And I know it's stupid, but it's blue and it looks cool. I like that too. And it matches my reel as far as you need to, you know, I mean, I even got blue line on it. But it's weird. And then when I saw some other reviews online of this on YouTube, everyone has it matched with the Tsunami Saltex with blue line. So I guess I'm falling into a stereotypical category with the Temple Fork Anglers, Temple Fork Outfitters, but it's a good rod. Like I said, it bends where it's supposed to bend. And when you're fighting those bigger fish, the smaller fish, it still feels good too, don't get me wrong. But when you're fighting those bigger fish, you can, I don't know how to say it, because I'm not an expert on fishing rods. You have more control over the fish, if that makes sense. And it's like you can feel more of what the fish is going to do or is gonna do. I've had a couple of freshwater fishing rods like that when I've got like a big largemouth, and you just have more control over that fish, and it has to do with the rod and how it bends and the makeup of the rod. As far as like the end here, it's got this ball on the end. I like it because you can really just hammer it right into the sand when you have to take a fish off or whatnot. It really holds, and it's durable too. I mean, I've used it all year and there's not really a scratch on it. It's like a hard plastic. The reel seat, as you can see, there's rash on it just from me using it. These are all plastic right here, so you don't have to worry about things getting corrosive and whatnot. Obviously, I'm going to clean it up good and put it away for storage until next year. Everything went good. As far as cleaning it, it's kind of hard to clean. It's kind of hard, so I took like a magic eraser to it sometimes. That's just to keep the salt corrosion off of it. It has this this coat on it that, I don't want to say it's tacky, but it's not super smooth. It's almost like some of those coatings that you see like in the archery business where they put it on the stabilizers of the sight. It's almost like this like powder coat rubber feel to it, and maybe that helps with some of it, but as the salt water gets to it, it gets kind of sticky. And you have to do more, for me anyway, you have to do more than just hose it off. A lot of times with my other rods, I'll just take the hose, like after I get done from fishing, I'll take the hose to it, you know, and get as much of the salt water off as I possibly can. This, you kind of, in order to keep it clean, I mean, you don't have to keep it clean, but it's always helpful to get the salt water off it, just for longevity of the product. I would take like a sponge to it, or a rag or something like that. You really just had to do it. And even now, like it's just a little sticky just from the salt. All right, it's really all I have for you. I think this is my forever company. I really do. And sub the channel. I'll talk to you guys later. Be well.